Without any further, I'd like to introduce our first speaker for today, Dao Kai.
That's huge. Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well? Yes, good. Okay. So yeah, first of all, thank you very much for being here tonight. My name is Dao. I'm a third culture kid. So I was raised in a country really that neither belong to my parents nor myself. So my parents are Chinese and I was raised in Peru. So as you can see, we were really kind of lost in a foreign country, like tourists, right? In a new country. This is an actual postcard from my family. So you can see the lovely, beautiful Machu Picchu at the background with the bright Chinese colors, right? This is very common in my family. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I've been very fortunate really to live through different countries, colors, music, food, very fortunate about that. I'm a second generation, so not the third one where the real fuck up happens. So for the ones that don't know that expression, right, they usually say that the third generation is the one that has forgotten all the grandparents' sacrifice and they live the free, fun life. So yeah, I grew up very aware of my parents' 17 working hours a day, 24/7, nonstop. And contrary, very contrary to my, is this working? Oh yeah. So contrary to the tiger parenting style from Asian families, right? My parents really didn't care that much. They never checked my homework. In fact, I failed twice when I was in school, when I was in college. My parents never cared and they never said anything to me. And it's not because I was a golden child or anything, but basically they were really, really tired and burned out. Now, but growing up in that kind of environment of hard work was really a blessing in disguise, I could say. I grew up with a deep sense of duty and responsibility. Don't ask me what for, but I just knew that I had to do well and I didn't want to live the life that they lived. So, and I really, really wanted to make them feel proud and in a way that the sacrifices were worth it. Sorry about this. So what did I do? I really studied hard. I worked hard. And I was really chasing those right decisions, the next promotion, next title, and so on, because I thought that was what worth it meant. So in today's story, I want to share a little bit of what happened to me. So back in 2016, almost towards the end of it, I was working in a pharmaceutical company, 400 people plus, and I was really helping them restructure this Salesforce team. In real words, it just meant having to let go people, very good people, and they were going to be fired. So it was 6 months of very, very hard work, emotionally, mentally, and then obviously very confidential. But ironically, by then I was being very successful. So I was being promoted every year. I thought I was making it. But the truth was, I could not keep food in my stomach for months. I would be sitting there thinking, having those anxiety attacks at 3 a.m. I could not breathe. I remember once I even, for the ones that know Mexico City is perhaps the place with with the highest crime rate, right? And at nighttime, I knocked on my neighbor. I didn't know him. And I said, can you help me? I cannot breathe. What was I thinking, right? In Mexico City. But lucky, he was really helpful and he helped me through that. So in very pandemic terms, I was really, really burnt out. And I decided, maybe for the first time in my life, you know what? I'm going to put myself first, my mental health, my physical health. If I really wanted to make it in life, I had to be okay with myself. So I decided to take a leap of faith. It was really, really scary, I have to say, to just having to let go that financial security, the safe job in a way. And it still scares me. And the interesting thing at the same time is that ever since that point, I'm still trying to redefine what success means. The KPIs that I put into my own life and terms. Because growing up in the West and East, you can consciously or subconsciously pick up a lot of the nuances, right, of what success means. So I'm really trying still to write that story for myself. Now, through those years of leap of faith, things have come in different shapes, packaged in different shapes and forms. So what I did is I completed my MBA. I met my ever supportive husband. I think he's there. I lived in 2 different countries. I changed work. So things have been pretty positive in a way. Now, if you ask me, what would I have done differently? I would say, first of all, reach out to people. And it's okay to say, you know what, I'm struggling, but, and always try to be compassionate with yourself. I would have also embraced uncertainty in a more adventurous way. We are so often stuck thinking what I'm not becoming, but instead, I think we should focus on what we can create. Now, if there's anything that I want you guys to take from my story is you are really never alone, okay? Never alone. Remember that stranger neighbor? I didn't know him, didn't matter, but you're not alone, so reach out. The second one is, I think it's truly okay. So whatever journey you are on, it's truly okay. You have to know and trust that you're doing your best. Like we all, right? We have our bad days, very frustrating days, and that's simply because you're trying. Okay, and by trying, you are already one step ahead. Be compassionate to yourself and to others. As you might know, right? We all are in different paths, different journeys. So really be compassionate and understanding. Having a purpose can be really fun and make it more meaningful. But if you don't have one yet, I say welcome to the club. Okay. Welcome to the club, and just don't forget to always ask that question. One that is really, really important, I'm still trying to learn, is have your own benchmarks of what success means. Nowadays society, right? You can't literally find something faster, quicker, prettier, smarter, whatever. Just have your own North and Star, and then let that guide you through your decisions in life. Lastly, I think that this is also an interesting one, is that while we are trying and failing, it really can feel like a fuck up. But in reality, just gathering content for a very, very good story to share with others. Now, I really want to finish the night, my speak with this one. You see, we often are stuck in this. We always think this is my path and this is where I am today. All the things that I could have done and I should have done, right? But I want you to go home tonight and think you are actually here, and then there's a ton of possibilities that you can create. So, yep, that's all. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dao. So we're going to open it up now for Q&A. We should have a microphone going around the audience. But we do not have a microphone going around. Oh, maybe. Okay, so we will have a microphone going around the audience if anyone has any questions. But yeah, I just wanted to say, Dao, thank you so much for sharing your story. And like what I really like about your story is, I think a lot of times when people think about how these presentations are gonna go, they think that like at the end of the story, you'll be able to say, and then I figured everything out and now everything is good. But you were very honest about like, you're still trying to understand these things for yourself, which I think is a really hard thing to talk about. It's a really hard thing to share. So I just wanted to ask, like, why did you decide to share your story tonight?
Okay, so first of all, really, it's just, in my opinion, a constant work in progress, right? If we are always, or at least if we aspire to chase for that perfect scenario, I made it, it's going to be a long, frustrating chase. Now, the second one is why I decided to share this story is I feel since I moved to Japan, like maybe 8-9 months ago, it's been a real eye-opening experience for me, especially when I take the train underground and I see a lot of frustration, perhaps in my mind, okay? And I think Japan is a very conservative society, and I just want to share with people that it's actually okay to just go and try things, it's totally fine, really fine. When you look back, it's not so much the regret of I failed, but it's that I haven't tried. So I just really want to share that with people.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience? Okay, we have one question over there. Can someone bring the microphone up?
Hi, thank you for sharing your story. You mentioned that the company you were working for was in Mexico, correct? Now, the company itself was a Mexican company or it was an overseas company? Well, basically, my question is as far as the Mexican business, because I'm Mexican also. So the Mexican business culture compared to the Japanese business culture, as far as dealing with Mexican customers or other Mexican businesses, what was the business culture like compared to the Japanese business culture?
What is it like? Sorry, the differences in business culture, you mean?
Yeah, the business cultures. What are the
Yeah,
differences?
I think that's a very good question. Probably I want to start with the similarities. 100%, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I'm Mexicano. So one of the things I felt in Mexico that was very obvious is political, politics is very important.
A lot of bribes.
I was being politically correct, yes. So a lot of, if you want to put it that way, yes, but even at workplace, right, it's really about, okay, who you are to me, you're my friend, and the politics in the office is really heavy and probably the heaviest I've seen so I work at Eli Lilly, American company. I work in 3 affiliates, and the Mexican one was probably heavily political. I think Japan, that's pretty much the case as well. Yes. One key difference perhaps, and I don't know if this is personality, but I feel that in Mexico, you could at least say things as they are. Okay, we'll go for beer, we say things as they are. I think in Japan, there's still more a struggle and the fear of judgment is big. So in Japan, I never quite know what people really are trying to tell me. But yeah, that's just speaking from my own personal experience.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I have a question. I'm kind of curious about what happened when you were in Mexico. You told us that it seems that you reached your low point, right? When you were there and you were even physically ill. I wonder, what do you think happened in maybe your mindset or the way you were thinking at the time that triggered you to take action? Because I imagine you already were carrying a lot of thoughts about what if I did this or what if that, but then what do you think it is that happened in you that actually propelled you into action at that moment?
That's a great question, because that's probably where I struggle most as well, because I knew I was totally burned out. Yet my logical brain would say, what are you doing? You're having this great life, right? So for me, it was wake-up call. It was quite personal. So my grandma passed away during those months. Yet I was still so caught up with all the work and that, and I didn't even see her, you know, in her last days. But then I was, yeah, you know, interesting story as well. So I will go back to Lima very often, and I say, I'm having this serious chapter of gastritis. I think it's called gastritis. And then I had so many tests. The doctor would even say, I think you might have a Mexican parasite, you know, like they always test you on that. I was like, no, but it's not. But yeah, I think seeing how my state of being, physical and perhaps mentally, was affecting people around me, that was a wake-up call. Not so much how I was feeling, but I could tell, you know, I was snapping at my family and people. I'm like, they don't even deserve it. And that was my wake-up call, maybe.
Thank you so much.
I'm wondering, like, you talked about like the how, you know, a lot of this is based in culture, or maybe what you wanted to do for your family, or like, yeah, for your family. Like, how has your like family reacted to this? Or
They were totally fine. It was all in my mind. You know, again, it's back to the struggle, you know, when you're raised in different countries and different cultures, you pick up what success means, right? In an Asian culture, is, well, have your good life, your good job, education, etc. Luckily, my parents were teachers, and they never pressure me on anything. But as a kid, and again, back to the second generation, I could see the struggle, and I thought to myself, you know what, I need to work hard. So no, it was really those mental barriers. And I think sometimes the mental barriers are way higher than the real physical barriers.
do we have any other questions? Okay, so thank you so much again for sharing your story, and
Thank
we all
you for the
appreciate it.
opportunity.